I generally don't do this, where I like write out a bunch of my points that I want to cover in a particular video on screen to be able to reference when I'm doing this whole live thing. Usually that's for pre-recorded, scripted content. But today, there's a topic that I really, really want to talk about, and I want to do it justice by covering every area that I want to talk about. And I don't feel like I can do that responsibly, just going right off my own head and sort of improvising it. So, I do have a very loose script in the form of a list of points that I want to touch on in this video, and hopefully it works out. So, at 8 a.m. today, the embargo for probably one of the most anticipated games of all time lifted. So I am now allowed to talk about spoilers without getting my channel yeeted. I previously covered a video from a guy who was mad about this whole The Last of Us 2 thing, and I had to take that video down despite the fact it did really good and people liked it, because it turns out Naughty Dog was getting people who talked about spoilers striked off of YouTube. So now that the embargo is over, I can talk about this without getting copyright striked by Naughty Dog. Excuse my throat, I just woke up. Now, The Last of Us 2 is the sequel to the game The Last of Us, which is probably looked back on as like one of the best games ever, at least narratively speaking. Its gameplay is but the characters and story and, you know, character development, all that shit, very good. Everyone fucking loves it. And people have been waiting for The Last of Us 2 since 2016, when it was announced, with a very hyped trailer. Now, recently, as of a couple months ago, there has been a particularly large amount of drama going on about The Last of Us 2. But it goes back to even before that. I think it was back in like 2017, or maybe 2018, Naughty Dog released a trailer for The Last of Us 2 that featured Ellie kissing another girl. If you played The Last of Us 2, then you know that Ellie is a lesbian, or at least bi. Maybe she's bi, I'm not sure. But at least a lesbian. Pretty based, am I right? And naturally, I mean, it's the gaming community. Gamers got pretty upset about this. You had a lot of videos going up saying that Naughty Dog is like pushing a radically progressive agenda to virtue signal to the LGBT community, and it's going to ruin the story of the game, and that Naughty Dog is losing its touch, and blah, 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 blah. Most people in the gaming community, I think, were cool with it, but a pretty significant, non-negligible amount of them were very upset. The drama didn't stop there, though. About a year later, they came out with another trailer that featured a character that we'll be talking about a lot momentarily, named Abby. They featured her first appearance, in which she is strung up to like a pole and like getting the shit beat out of her by a bunch of people, right? And then she manages to get out, and she's like really muscular and strong, and that was our first introduction to her, and a lot of people got really, really mad. Now, at the time, they theorized that maybe she was like Ellie's mom or something like that, but a lot of gamers got real upset because she's like a really muscular, not conventionally attractive woman. And this only kind of lumped in with the fact that they'd made Ellie, the main protagonist, you know, a woman who's surviving in the apocalypse, not hot enough. You know, she doesn't wear makeup or revealing clothing. She doesn't, you know, she's cute, but she is not, like, fuckable by most gamers' standards, you know? So there was a lot of controversy that came from that as well. But we're not talking about any of that, because all of that is just what you can be expected. Like, that's all you can expect from the reactionary gamer side of YouTube when a new game comes out that's super hype. Today, we're talking about the more recent drama. So a couple months ago, The Last of Us 2 had a shit ton of content leaked onto the internet. There were a few clips of gameplay, and there were a bunch of plot leaks that were very well substantiated from very reputable sources, and just a lot of like clips from the game and stuff like that. A lot of leaks, like a lot of shit leaked. Basically, the whole story leaked. as far as I'm aware. The embargo ended today, so I can actually watch the whole game on YouTube right now if I wanted to. I haven't yet. I will be after this stream, so I may be wrong. And for the most part, the reception to the spoilers was extremely overwhelmingly negative, because the spoilers focused heavily, or at least people focused heavily, on the character Abby and something that she does somewhere around the beginning of the game. So, Abby, for those of you that aren't aware, Abby looks like this. This is her. So for those of you that aren't aware, Abby is the daughter of, for those of you who are super familiar with The Last of Us, she is the daughter of one of the doctors that Joel killed at the end of The Last of Us 1. Just killed, he killed her dad in cold blood, and ever since then she's been hunting him, plotting revenge, and wants to kill Joel. Joel being the main character from the last game. So, in the spoiled, leaked footage, Abby murders Joel. She just whoosh, turns his head into Hamburger Helper with a golf club here. Now, whether or not you whether or not you think that this is a good idea, the response to it was, in my opinion, pretty damn indefensible. So you had a few responses. Let's be completely fair to the gamer bros out there. You had the people who were just upset that Joel died, because Joel was a character they really liked, and it's sad seeing him go. I mean, the same thing happened back when season 6 of The Walking Dead came out. When Negan killed Abraham and Glenn, a lot of people reacted the same way. They decided they didn't want to watch The Walking Dead anymore. It got too depressing, and two of their favorite characters got killed off in a very brutal way. It was season 6, guys. Wait, was it season 7? Yeah, it was season 7. You're right. Sorry. That happened. So that's understandable. That's one thing. Then you have the dudes who are mad that that Abby looks muscular. There's been a lot of people saying that she's trans. I'll have you know she is probably not. There's been no confirmation. Excuse me. There's been no confirmation as to whether or not Abby is trans. I'm pretty sure it's just gamers seeing like a muscular cis woman and saying, "Oh, she must be trans." So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, you love to see that, don't you? And then finally, there's the real fucked up shit. Last night, I went to a video of the scene where Abby kills Joel, and I read the comments. I made the grave mistake of reading the comments. And most of them, I'm not exaggerating here, most of these comments were people unironically, in detail, plotting how they would kill the game developers if they had the opportunity. Like how bad they want to kill Neil Druckmann, the guy who's like the creative director guy behind The Last of Us 2. The SJW devs, how bad they wanted to kill them. Like literally plotting in detail how they would murder them. So, yeah. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things to criticize Naughty Dog for with The Last of Us 2. Plenty of things. Most notable, at the top of my head, overworking during crunch time, the samey gameplay, it's always the third person over the shoulder survival, adventure, horror games that are always on console, It's pretty samey. There's plenty of things. It's exclusive. It's console exclusive, so very anti-consumer. There's that. So yeah, there is plenty to criticize Naughty Dog for with The Last of Us 2, but none of those things are this. Now, why do I think gamers are? But like, it's not worth it just to talk about how people are reacting. I want to talk about why are these gamer bros reacting to this drama, to these leaks, in the way that they are? Is a PC exclusive anti-consumer? Yeah, just as much as any other consumer. Although PC is more broadly available, I think, so maybe not quite as anti-consumer as console exclusives are. Regardless, why are these I'm really interested in the psychology of these gamer bros that are so mad about this, right? And I want to talk about it, because I have a theory. Pardon me if I do a little bit of armchair psychology on the broader gaming community, but I think it'd actually be very interesting. So, I think it starts with gamers being pretty reactionary on a base level, broadly speaking. If we're talking about, like, your average straight, white, male gamer bro, I mean, this is statistically a pretty significant amount of the gaming community, at least the most vocal part of the gaming community on the internet. And even if you aren't one of those things, you'd usually fall in line with most of them, right? You may not be white, but you'll usually be, like, straight and male. You may not be male, but you'll usually be straight and white. You may not be straight, but you'll usually be male and white. And this may lead to you having a higher likelihood of being a bit reactionary with your politics. Understandably so, because I was in this position once. I mean, for you, politics doesn't really affect you all that much, at least not as what you're aware, right? Like, you weren't affected by lack of representation in games, so when you hear people making a big deal about being represented in games, you get annoyed by it, because you're like, oh, I don't feel unrepresented, I don't feel like I need to, the character I'm playing as needs to look like me in order for me to enjoy it. You guys, like, and I'm speaking directly to these people here, you don't really feel that way. And so it's hard, you know, you're more likely to lean more reactionary on gaming issues. But I gotta call bullshit on that. Because gamers absolutely do want to play as people that look like them. I'll explain why. Who here is familiar with a concept called the dadification of games? D-A-D-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N. Dadification. Any hypers in chat for people who know what that is? Hell yeah, okay. Some of you guys know, many of you do not. Good. The dadification of games is a tendency for usually male writers to write a, like, older, grizzled male character who has a very sketchy past and try to redeem them by having them take care of a child. Usually a young girl in a post-apocalyptic or some dire situation, right? The go-to examples of this, right off the top of my head, are Season 1 of Telltale's The Walking Dead, Logan, although that's a movie. There's obviously The Last of Us 1, God of War 4, or God of War 2018. Oh god, there's more off the... to a degree, The Witcher 3, although not quite as much, you know, with Ciri and Geralt. Yeah. There's also The Mandalorian, but that's a little different. But you guys get what I'm getting at here. This is a pretty common trope in video games now. Now, do I dislike this trope? Honestly, no. I like it. I think it's a cool trope, as long as it's not too overdone. If it's done right, it's pretty damn good. I think The Last of Us 1 does it right. I think Season 1 of Telltale's The Walking Dead does it good. I think most of the examples that I brought up do it pretty damn well. However, we gotta talk about why so many male gamer bros really, really enjoy content with these themes. So, let's talk specifically about The Last of Us 1. Joel is a straight, white, grizzled old man who is very down-to-earth and relatable for the person playing it. Chances are, if you're like a white guy, which is the majority of gamers, you're gonna connect with Joel pretty strongly. Is it daddy kink? I don't think it has anything to do with daddy kink. I think a lot of gamers, like ones who are very invested in gaming, but like don't have any life outside of it, which is genuinely the ones that get mad about stuff like this. I think they all wish they were like a dad. I feel like they want a dad LARP. You're right. It's dad LARPing, right? It seems to get somewhere in like the male psyche whenever you play as one of these like dadified, whenever as like a dad character in one of these games. So I think a lot of like white gamer bros got really attached to Joel and The Last of Us 1, which is fine. I liked Joel. I thought he was a pretty cool dude. I mean, he was pretty bad. He did terrible things. Cold-blooded murder being one of them. The post-apocalyptic world, you gotta do what you gotta do. And now, in The Last of Us 2, he's getting justice for what he did. Somebody who he wronged severely in the previous game has come back for revenge. And killed him. In a pretty brutal scene. Clearly a reference to Negan killing Glenn and Abraham in The Walking Dead Season 7. In the premiere. Although, honestly, not even quite that disrespectful. There's a lot of people that were saying that, like, Neil Druckmann is, like, shitting all over Joel with his SJW agenda, killing him, has no respect for him because he's a straight white man. No. I would honestly say, after seeing the scene, Joel's death was, while granted very gritty and dark and brutal, it was, fairly quick and painless, right? He got hit a few times with the golf club, but it was the one that finished him off was like a pretty solid, just, whoosh, and like, yeah, he's dead. There were no, like, Abby didn't make like a golf pun or anything, or do like a big dramatic speech like Negan did. She just figured out who she was talking to, figured out this is the person she wanted revenge on, and killed him. Now, the people who got mad about Abby, killing Joel because they have sort of a very strong tie with Joel as like the sort of dad character they related with quite a bit, that's understandable. I can sort of understand that. We already talked about the gamer bros who think that Abby is trans because she's a cis woman with muscles, and that's how fucking gamer bros are. But I want to talk about the people who are genuinely upset about the way and the direction in which the game is going. Now, the game's been out. I literally haven't looked at anything about this game since I woke up. I've been up for about an hour. So I have no idea how players... I don't think it's come out until tomorrow, but the embargo's just lifted. But I don't know how players themselves, like just random average people, are reacting to playing the game themselves. I don't know what their takes are on it. What I do know is that all the reviewers, for the most part, have rated The Last of Us 2 extremely highly. And basically say it's one of the best games of all time. It's at like a 96 or 97 at the moment. On IGN, Metacritic? I don't know. I really don't care. So it seems like people look at it pretty positively. But I want to talk to the people who are mad about the direction the game moves in. And we're going to have a few more spoilers here, so prepare yourselves. In The Last of Us Part 2, there is a main theme called the Cycle of Hatred. One person goes out of their way to get their revenge on somebody and does a terrible thing to them, and then somebody else does the same thing back, and then they do the same thing. It's a cycle of, like, revenge and hatred, and it never really ends. It's like getting revenge on the person who you want to get revenge on. It's just going to make them want to get back at you, and it's not going to work out, right? So, there's that. You see, Abby, and this is what has a lot of gamers really fucking angry, Abby is a playable character in the game. You will play a pretty significant amount of the game, like a third, I think, as Abby. And a lot of people are upset that you would have to play as the very character who murdered Joel. How can we put ourselves in the shoes of this character? Well, honestly, I think it's actually pretty interesting. I think it's actually a pretty unique... I mean, it's been done before, but I think it's a pretty unique gameplay element. Or a story element, right? Because when you think about it, literally everybody is the villain of somebody else's story. Right now, if you're watching this right now, there is somebody out there who at some point in your life fucking hated you. They hated being in your presence. You probably did something terrible to them. You are the villain of their story. Everybody. I am, you are, every single person watching this. You are the villain of someone else's story. But you don't hate yourself because you are yourself. You are the protagonist of your own story. Same goes for The Last of Us, too. And obviously, right? So in The Last of Us, Joel and Ellie were the protagonists. So even though they did terrible things, committed murders and whatnot, we sort of gave them the pass because we were so connected to them. We spent a lot of time with them. They were the protagonists. In The Last of Us Part 2, we're going to see Abby's side of things. Joel and Ellie, mostly Joel, that's why she chooses not to kill Ellie. Joel did terrible things to Abby. He murdered her dad. Honestly, she has a right to want to get revenge. So we're going to see things from Abby's point of view and see that maybe Ellie isn't all that in the right. And if that's something that you're not cool with, then I invite you to maybe reconsider whether or not you think that games are an art form, because they are. Video games are an art form. Video games are art, and they're going to... If they're going to continue to be art, they need to challenge you and engage in very difficult to consume story elements that may be dark or uncomfortable for some people, but that's one of the most beautiful things about art. Sometimes you aren't fully comfortable. Sometimes it's morally gray. Sometimes you aren't fully comfortable with what you're seeing, you know? Sometimes it makes you feel like shit instead of making you feel good. That's what art's all about. Art is about making you feel things in response to something. But I want to finish this off by talking about the final thing that a lot of gamers seem to be very, very, very mad about. And that's the fact that at the very end of the game, presumably, I don't know if it's the very end of the game, but Ellie gets the opportunity to kill Abby and spares her. Ellie spares Abby and takes the high road. Allegedly. This is what's from the leaks. I'm not 100% sure if this is true. A lot of gamers are mad about this, because apparently Abby gets redeemed and Ellie decides not to kill Abby. A lot of people are like, how the fuck are you gonna redeem the character, the lady that killed Joel? Well, that's honestly one of my favorite arcs in any type of media. Like, redeeming a character that seems completely irredeemable, right? Because from the scene that I saw, Abby's guys, beat the shit out of Ellie and have her pinned to the ground and make her watch as Abby, caves in Joel's head. And she's, screaming and crying, please don't, I'm gonna kill you. You got it. This character is framed to be very, very bad. So how do they redeem this character? Well, I honestly love having a seemingly irredeemable antagonist and redeeming them in the eyes of the viewer. If you can do that effectively, that can be some of the best media you'll ever consume. Who here has seen Game of Thrones? Any hypers in chat? Who's seen Game of Thrones? Nobody? Oh, we got a few people. Good. Nice. A little bit of stream delay. It's fine. Who remembers Jaime Lannister in Season 1? People hated Jaime Lannister almost as much as they hated Joffrey. Because the first time we see him, he's a fucking douchebag, preppy little asshole. He attempts to murder a child because he gets caught fucking his sister. And he's just an asshole in general. People hated him a lot. But Jaime then goes on to fall from grace, basically, and gets the shit humbled out of him. He gets his left hand chopped off, or was it his right hand? He's like a really good fighter, which sort of adds insult to injury, because he almost seems impossible to kill because he's so good at sword fighting. He gets his good sword fighting hand chopped off. In the process of preventing a woman from getting raped, he gets the shit beaten out of him. He is forced for like a year and a half to like wander the countryside trying to get back to his family. He gets really, really humbled. We see a lot of his motivations, and we see him face a punishment, and more so than we thought was deserving of him, right? So Jaime became, until season 8 of Game of Thrones, which doesn't exist, we're not going to talk about it. Jaime Lannister became a character that went from being hated by almost everybody to being loved by basically everybody in the Game of Thrones fandom because of his redemption arc. And there's been tons of other games that have done the dynamic of like playing as the protagonist and then playing on the other end as the antagonist. Probably one of the best games of all time, in my opinion, Halo 2. In Halo 2, you alternate, and this is how I think they're going to do it with The Last of Us 2. In Halo 2, you alternate between the Arbiter and Master Chief. Personally, I fucking love the Arbiter. For most of the game, the Arbiter is part of the Covenant still. You aren't really killing human enemies, you aren't killing any, like, Earth enemies, so I guess that makes it a bit different, but in Halo 2, you're playing as the Arbiter, killing enemies of the Covenant. You are part of the Covenant until you get betrayed. And the Arbiter has a redemption arc to the point where he becomes an ally of Master Chief. You are playing the game, switching between two characters at odds with each other. So honestly, I'm really confused why so many of these people are mad. I mean, I understand it, but as somebody who knows a lot about games, I feel like this isn't something people would be complaining about otherwise. I actually, last night when I was looking through the comments of the video where people were talking about the leaks, one person commented, imagine if when Kratos in God of War 3 got to Zeus, he just decided to spare Zeus. Imagine what would happen then. Making fun of Ellie deciding to spare Abby. And it's crazy to me, because these people are supposedly gamers, and they don't know that in God of War 4, God of War 2018, Kratos demands Atreus doesn't kill Modi, demands that Kratos doesn't kill Modi, and then, or Atreus doesn't kill Modi, and then when he does anyway, Kratos scolds him for it, and then later, after fighting him dozens of times, or like a few times, Kratos decides to spare Baldur until Baldur tries to kill Freya, in which case he says that was your last chance and kills him. But he tries so many times to spare people that that like fucked with him, if he can. If they aren't a threat to him and they don't need to be killed, he tries his best to spare them in God of War 4. So it's hilarious to me that these like alleged like real gamers would cite Kratos as an example of how it's ridiculous that this character didn't get the revenge that they wanted to get, when I don't know. It's just hilarious. I don't know. 400 viewer Andy? Yeah, we got 416 viewers talking about The Last of Us. Pretty good memes. So I guess that's all I want to say. I think this is probably one of my best videos in terms of my rhetoric. But at the end of the day, that seems to be why all these gamer bros are so outraged over The Last of Us 2, and honestly, I think it's kind of funny. But it's honestly interesting. It genuinely is interesting. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a sub if you enjoyed this, and drop a like on the video.